Hey there. If you're getting this, you probably have either followed our Athens and Oconee market updates, or you subscribe to our newsletter, or you're just someone that's worked with me personally in the past, because this is not our typical monthly update that's focusing on Athens. I've gathered some information that I want to go over. That's kind of the national forecast for what we expect to see in real estate over the next several months or this year. So wanted to do that and share it with you so we could kind of look at things from a bigger perspective. And I'm just doing it here from the desk, even got the headphones on. Now, this data comes from, one of our resources that I use to kind of keep an eye on things and try to learn what's going on elsewhere. And maybe we could see something before it hits our area. Um, so let's get started. First slide here, it just talks about the home sales could possibly reach 8 million if we had more inventory. And that's sort of what I wanted to get to is we sort of have this is a chief economist, Lawrence Yun from the NAR. We have the lowest inventory we've ever had. I'm going to cover that in a second. So it's one of the things that's really impacting our market and why this looks so different for us right now than in the past. Um, People are talking about mortgage rates going up, and it's funny how quickly we get spoiled. We were just at 2.5, and now we're seeing 3% and 2.7, and we're acting like something bad has happened. The mortgages reached a low point in January, and they've risen more than 30 basis points, and yeah, that was pretty quick. But the reality is, we're going to see that kind of probably level off, and the forecast is not to see that quick of a move up again. So I think you should probably, if that was a worry of yours, calm down. You're probably still going to be seeing something good around 3%. So, and that's from our economist quoted over at Freddie Mac. Now, to come down here, I just kind of want to go over mortgage rates since January of 2020 and give you an idea where we were. When we started pre-pandemic, 3.7, January 2020, and then basically came down to that low point I was just discussing in January. And then we've seen that little quick uptick. But what we're forecasting is more of a this move, as you can kind of see. That's probably what we're doing. Who knows? Maybe we could dip back below, but I don't think we're going to see north of this number. So that should give you some idea of what to be planning for. Now, I want to talk a little bit about forbearance because this was a big talk early on when the pandemic hit about, all these people in forbearance and how that's going to impact our market, foreclosures coming around. So this is what's been going on with the forbearance and the plans people have made. Here's some numbers that we're able to source from another place. And from the exit of the forbearance plan, you got almost 51% paid in full. 33.6 have worked out their repayment plan, and under 16%, around 15, are in that trouble area. And we don't want to see that happen to anybody. And this is basically saying that this is that forbearance exits from June to February of this year, which is last month. Now, what I want you to kind of look at too is if you go back to where we were on the percentage of overall forbearances, it shows that it was 8.5 in May, down to 8.3, 7.7, 7.2. You notice the trend, right? We dropped from 8 to below 6 here. There was an uptick in December, but then it dropped back down in January and it dropped back down again in February. So that's all good news. That means that we're not heading towards that in our market. And what else? What else does that mean? Well, this is from DS News, and it says that about 325,000 people will exit the forbearance program over the next 6 to 9 months without a plan. And some of these people might have loans that default. So that means that some people are going to probably suffer a home loss from this. But one thing to keep in mind is the lack of inventory and equity. A lot of these people may not be foreclosed on. They may be able to sell, pay a real estate agent, pay, and still take money away from their property. So it's not at all creating what happened before for this percentage of people. And this is the other thing to note, our actual inventory. So this is the start of each year, the actual inventory nationwide. This is shocking. This is really probably what prompted me to do the video. And if you see in January 2016, we had just under a million homes of actual inventory. 17 dropped again, 825 homes. January of 2018, a year later, 764 homes. We saw a slight uptick in 2019 to just over 800,000. And then keep in mind, these are hundreds of thousands, 764,000, 813,000. Then in January of 2020, we saw the lowest number since before January 2016, and that was 722,000 homes on the market. Well, right now, in January 2021, we are 325 homes to 720 last year. That is that is less than half of what the total inventory was last year. So let's say that you took all 325 people out of forbearance and dumped them into potential foreclosure. So you dumped 325 foreclosures on the market. If that were to even happen, we would still not reach the total homes on the market that we had in January 2020. So we're not going to see that happen. So what our real problem here is the lack of inventory, and that's creating it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's why we need you. If you're thinking of selling a home, to reach out and see if we can help you find somewhere to land. And here's what's going on: the lack of existing homes available to sell is dragging the housing market. So many homeowners may want to upgrade, but they don't know where to go, and it keeps them from putting their house on the market. So long and short, others aren't selling their house because they don't know where to go, which means their house doesn't go on the market, and you have nowhere to go. It keeps building on itself, and it's getting very, very tight. So one of the things we're doing for a lot of people is helping them find stuff, by knocking on doors, so to speak. We have a ton of buyers, so if you're thinking of selling, talk to us. We can work with you. But I do want to cover a few more things before we're done. Year-over-year change in listings. As you can see that the total new listings has basically been dropping over all this time, and then basically the total listings has also been dropping. So the total lack of inventory, this has been a trend already happening. And if home sales continue to ascend in the first month of the year, which is what we saw, but we could have had more if we had more inventory. That's the story. As a matter of fact, we're probably not going to reach the potential of this market. We could have a ton, maybe the most historic market we've ever seen, but we're just not going to have the inventory to get there. And those are the things you need to have in mind. So if you're thinking of selling your home, this is sort of what's happening. What's the time of existing homes on the market? Levels of month supply. So you can see where the actually lower inventory levels are. Something to keep in mind. But from now on, it's going to be falling. So you do have time to do something this year. And home price forecast, one of the last things. We've got this kind of all over the board to a very low of just a modest 3.5%, all the way up to being forecast over 10%. Average home price forecast going up about 5%. And you can see we've used various different sources there. Now, this is comparing the annual home appreciation. And this is what I'm going to end on. People talk about what happened before, and what's interesting is we're not really even there. We think we're in this crazy market. Look at the appreciation levels in 02, 03, 04, 05. They surpass every single appreciation level annually across the country that we've seen since 17. That's something that even I wouldn't have thought of if I didn't see the numbers. It's felt so much different, but I think it's because of the lack of inventory. So we've actually still not really where that appreciation levels were, and we have good loans and a lack of supply and a high demand. So overall, things are good. Just wanted to share these things with you and you to have them in mind, because one of our biggest problems is where are you going to go? And we need you to find a place to go if you want to sell so somebody can buy your house. And we don't create this problem from keep getting worse and worse. If you ever have questions, reach out to me or anyone here at our company, 5 Market Realty, 5mrealty.com. Thanks for watching.